Welcome to the Procter & Gamble's St. Louis plant, home of the Gateway Arch, Cardinals baseball, and one of P&G's premier manufacturing sites. As a visitor, it's important that you follow our safe practices, as we believe that nothing we do is worth getting hurt. The information you're about to see will give you a brief overview of our safety expectations. Paying close attention to the video and information provided by your host will ensure that you have a safe visit to our St. Louis plant.
Hello and welcome to the St. Louis site. I'm Ricardo Souza, St. Louis site leader. We want your visit today to be both safe and meet the objectives of your day. We want to start your visit with a focus on safety. I'd like to share with you two of our safety values that have been very important to me for many years with the company. The first value is that nothing we do is worth getting hurt. And the second value is that every injury can and should be prevented. To comply with these values and ensure that you do not get hurt, please ensure that any test you undertake, you know how to do it the safe way. This includes walking to the areas where you will work, conducting the work you will do in the area, and then returning to your vehicle at the end of the day. Please practice the method of risk prediction and action planning to eliminate risk. Take time to think about what you will be doing before you do it. Assess the risk involved with doing this task, and then execute the work in a safe way. If it's not clear how to do the task safely, please ask one of our qualified resources for training. Finally, please recognize the risk is not always obvious, as there's risk in everything we do. Please ensure you heighten your sensitivity to everything around you. Be aware of things that may cause you to slip or trip. Maintain 3 points of contact with stairs and handrails. Please stop at all stop signs throughout our facility. And be aware of moving vehicles such as golf carts and fork trucks, including on the sidewalks in front of our facility. Finally, ask about unique hazards in the area you will be working and take the necessary precautions to eliminate the risk. I'm very confident that if you follow these precautions and maintain a high sense of awareness, that you will have a safe and enjoyable day in St. Louis. Thank you and have a safe day.
Our mission as an organization is to be a good corporate citizen to our employees, the environment, and our neighbors. To be successful in that endeavor, we want everyone, including our guests, to be safe and go home in the same condition as they entered our site, and to control our manufacturing processes as to not endanger the environment or the surrounding neighborhoods in which we operate. You are currently watching the St. Louis site mandatory visitor safety video. You will be required to view it annually as a refresher before you can resume your visit to our plant. This will allow you to have all of the tools to ensure your safety while at our site. Upon arrival, you will be required to check in with security in the central lobby. You will be issued a temporary badge that should be displayed at all times. You must be escorted by your host at all times. Your host will review our site safe practices, evacuation routes, PPE requirements, and conduct a risk prediction with you each day. Your host will then make sure to give you the appropriate PPE. At the end of each day, return your PPE, and then you will sign out from security in the central lobby. The St. Louis site has an audible emergency notification system that consists of 2 parts, an emergency tone, followed by voice instruction.
Attention all plant personnel, we have a fire
in the event of an emergency, medical, fire, or weather-related, the alarm would be sounded, followed by the appropriate voice instruction to ensure your safety. Your host has the responsibility to ensure that you know the appropriate evacuation routes and location, but it is your responsibility as well to locate an evacuation map. In the case of an emergency during your visit to the site, once you hear the alarm, stop, listen for the audible instruction, and follow the voice commands and your sponsor to the appropriate shelter or evacuation point. If you witness an emergency, locate the nearest plant landline and call 222 or 314-622-8222 from a mobile device to notify security. Security will then initiate the appropriate emergency response.
MRT to Building 39 loading dock.
When you enter into the manufacturing areas, your host will cover the safe practices with you. In particular, as a visitor to our site, stay with your host. Do not operate equipment. Be aware of the surrounding equipment and keep a safe distance if it's energized. Hair should be worn above the shoulders and no jewelry or loose-fitting clothing is permitted. Please remain in the safe walkways at all times. Stop at all stop signs, crossing gates, and intersections, checking for traffic in all directions. Be alert for all moving vehicles, forklifts, golf carts, and automobiles when crossing Grand Avenue. Make eye contact with forklift operators and wait for a motion to cross. Wearing the designated PPE earplugs, safety glasses, and steel-toed shoes are required when on site. Depending on the purpose of your visit, other PPE may be required. Do not dispense product or chemicals down the drain. Be aware of your surroundings. Observe slip-trip hazards, use handrails as provided, and adhere to all hazard and warning signs. As you move about the plant, be aware of rail cars, forklifts, motorized pallet jacks, trailers, etc. The St. Louis site has a number of chemicals that are required in its manufacturing processes. As a visitor to our site, it's important to understand the location of these chemicals and their inherent risks. Aside from such common chemicals as acids, oxidizers, and various caustics, the site stores active enzymes, ethanol, and PC3. Each, when managed properly, pose no risk, but if mismanaged, could cause a significant risk to the environment and the health of our employees. In addition to those listed chemicals, enzymes are a primary ingredient to our Cascade powder products, enabling the dish detergent to effectively cleanse dirty dishes. Here in St. Louis, we have been producing enzyme granule detergent safely for several years. The advanced development of a non-dusty encapsulated enzyme helps protect our workers from getting sensitized. Sensitization can only happen when the enzyme enters the respiratory tract. We here at P&G take every precaution to protect our workers and visitors from having a reaction to enzymes. You, as a visitor, must stay with your host at all times when visiting the Cascade powder business. Throughout the Cascade business, you may see signage of an area requiring a mandatory respirator. These areas may not be entered unless you have the correct PPE. Also, you may see an oscillating red light. This too indicates a mandatory respirator area. In the unlikely case of an enzyme spill, your host will escort you to one of our safe zones. In addition to our safety expectations, the liquids module is a micro-compliant area. Our product is engineered to kill germs and bacteria. If allowed to enter into our product through our manufacturing area, microorganisms could contaminate our product and make them ineffective. Therefore, when entering the module, a hygiene awareness policy is in effect to ensure that we do not introduce microbes into our product. The hygiene attire consists of hairnets, beard nets, and smocks. Hair should be neatly tucked under hairnet. Men with facial hair should also wear a beard net, again, neatly covering facial hair. A smock should also be worn when in the liquids department. The smock must be closed, though the top two snaps are allowed to be open. When you are done with your attire and leaving the liquids module, place your hair and beard nets in the proper waste container. Place used smocks in the used smocks cabinet, located in either of the main entrances. Thank you for viewing the P&G St. Louis site safety video. We hope you have a safe and productive visit to our site.